Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another Diablo 3 video, and today we're going to be focusing mainly on my Crusader build because basically what's been happening is I've spread my time evenly for a while in between my Barbarian, my Monk, and then my Crusader because I actually want to focus more on one of the characters so that I can actually get that character more geared up in order to proceed into higher levels of Torment. And the character that I've been having the most success with has definitely been my Crusader. I don't know if that is due to the drops that I've had, or maybe it's just because I have preference for a character that actually uses a shield in an effective way. So I kind of like the Crusader a whole lot because of that, because you guys know that I'm a sucker for shield slamming and all that kind of stuff. So I've been focusing mainly on the Crusader over the past couple of days, and currently we are in Torment 3. However, I can tell you that with this build, I've actually run Torment 4. I run a Torment 4 Rift. It wasn't great, like it didn't go as well as I would have liked, but I've realized a couple of things, and I had been doing some research on it because like I told you guys in one of the videos that I did recently about Diablo, was that a lot of people were complaining that the Blade of Prophecy had been stealth nerfed. However, there was a blue post that said there was no stealth nerf. It always worked like that. But as you guys can see, we're going to start off today's video by talking about the Blade of Prophecy, because this is one of the kind of like the staples of my build. My build started revolving around the Blade of Prophecy because it just seemed like such a powerful item. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still pretty powerful, but it is clearly not as powerful as the description makes it seem. So what the description says is all condemned enemies also trigger Condemned's explosion. So let's say you get 10 enemies together, nuclear explosion, because those 10 enemies in turn are also going to be doing the Condemned explosion, and all hell's going to be breaking loose, right? That's what the description leads you to believe. However, according to a blue post that I saw recently, it says that was never the way that the sword was working, even though some players say it definitely was working like that. I can't confirm or deny because I'm not 100% sure. But the blue poster said that sword basically triggers Condemned onto additional enemies. So your grand total will be 3 Condemns. Now, in case you guys are wondering, what? I don't believe that. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and try to prove it to you. It's not a very easy thing to do. Let's start by dismissing our Enchantress here so that we can actually have full control. And let's just remove the blade, because one of the important things for you guys to realize is how Condemned actually works to get started. Actually, we can do something with the Rune of Condemned, now that I think about it. Let's go ahead and do Unleashed. Okay, so what Unleashed does is it does the explosion instantly. Now pay close attention to the animation. So you guys will notice that during the animation, there's like a spike that shows up on top. So since it's pretty hard for you to determine how many explosions like that are going to be on screen when you explode in the middle of an AoE mess of mobs, just pay attention to the little spike, because that's the most important thing. Just there's one spike right down the middle there. You guys will notice that every single time that you do Condemned, there is one spike that comes down on your character. That spike is what you can actually use to determine how many Condemneds are being triggered. So now that you know this, let's actually go out into the battlefields of eternity or whatever. Any place will do, really. It's just to give you guys an idea of how this thing is working. And let's see if we can get in a good situation here. Here we go. We got a couple of mobs here. Let's get all of these guys attacking us. Come on, boys. Gather up, gather up. Particularly, it's hard in this build because, as you guys can see, I'm using Punish with Roar. So that is going to make things even more confusing. Just look for those spikes. Oops. Lag. Mega lag. Hyper mega lag. This is not going to work out. Give me just a second here. Wow, we got red ping right now. Hooray. Diablo servers are like all botched up, if I'm to be completely honest. I have some serious issues with Diablo servers all the time. But usually if I leave game and recreate, it usually fixes the damn thing automatically. So I don't know what the problem is. It's clearly not my internet connection, because if it was that, all of the games would be botched up, not just one. So let's go ahead and create a new game. Also, some of you guys might be wondering why did I completely rechange the appearance of my character. And turns out that if I don't actually have to pay real money for cosmetic changes, I'm actually really into changing my character cosmetically. So, hey, that makes it a lot of fun. What can I say? Now let's go up to Battlefields of Eternity yet again. However, let me change my condemned to my usual condemned so that I know what I'm doing. I usually have condemned with vacuum, but let's go ahead. Oh, damn it, not this way. Okay, fine, we'll have to do it this way. We're going to have to kill this guy. These guys are a pain, that's why I didn't want to do him. But, you know, screw it. Let's just run through. Pick up a bunch of mobs here. Now, remember that spike that I told you guys about. And we are going to go ahead and AoE all of these guys in. 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if you guys were able to see that, but I'm going to do it again, and then I'm also going to do it in slow motion in the video itself. So let me just move through here. If these guys will actually allow me. Excuse me, sirs. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to just put it in slow motion. Okay, so that slow motion footage should just put that whole debate that some people are saying, no, that's not the way it works. That's not what it's doing. That should pretty much put all of that stuff to rest. So now you guys have a pretty good idea what that is all about. Now, the other thing that I would also like to advise you is never craft this hammer, because right now this hammer is actually glitched. Because you guys see there, 45% chance to cast a fireball when attacking. And I was like, well, this actually seems like it would be pretty good to use with something like Justice or whatever, right? Seems like a pretty good idea. Let me show you guys how hard this fireball crits. You guys have no idea. 2 million, that's just my regular attacks. Problem is these guys block so much, it's going to be a pain. There we go, come on. Get a crit on that fireball. No, damn it, wait. Oh my god, you're so frustrating, dude. Okay, let's see if we can get a crit on the fireball. Boom, 1,815, that was the fireball. Isn't that amazing? That fireball, that 1,000 damage fireball. Is that not awesome? Is that not all of your dreams come true? I can't even get another crit off the fireball. Although to its credit, I think that the item looks pretty badass. I think that the item itself, the item model, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, you got the whole fire axe thing going on. You got flames going off of it. So that's pretty cool, but at the end of the day, that axe is actually a piece of crap. It's a piece of garbage, and you shouldn't really use it. So now let's talk about the build that I'm currently using, which is kind of like the last version of this build that I'm going to do, because I also want to talk to you guys today about blocking. Yes, today I don't want to just talk about builds, I want to talk about several concepts. So one of the first things that I want to talk about was the Blade of Prophecy, to just put that whole thing to rest. So now you guys know it only triggers 2 additional condemned explosions. The other thing I want to talk about is Cinder Switch, because I made the mistake of actually crafting the damn thing. Now I'm going to keep it, maybe Blizzard will eventually fix it. And if they do fix it, maybe this will actually be pretty good for some kind of a Justice build. But for now, it is not something that you want to have in your build with you. Now, the other topic that I wanted to approach was blocking. So why do I want to approach the topic of blocking? Because this entire build, like I told you guys from the start, this entire build revolves around blocking your enemies. Like, you want to get really high block chances. As a matter of fact, I've even switched the build around. I'm now using Blessed Shield as my Wrath Spender, because I'm trying to take advantage of the ridiculous amount of block chance that I have right now. I could even have more if I wanted to. I have I had a drop today of a Justice Lantern, so I could like re-roll the armor into strength, and this would actually become a pretty decent ring, and put it in there and get even more block chance. But like I said, the problem with all this is that blocking is not that effective. So my whole build revolves around blocking, and I was hoping that eventually I would be able to get gear where I could effectively block stuff in Torment 6. Never going to happen. And the reason why it's never going to happen is because you see that this shield right here, right? This is my shield, Defender of Westmarch. So if you guys notice, the very first 2 stats after the armor level are chance to block and block amount. So one very important thing here, block amount. This is static. This does not change, ever. I'm yet to find an item. I haven't really been looking for them, but it would seem weird for me that I haven't found a single item on any character that affects the amount of block in any way, shape, or form. Now, if you go into details, it actually tells you here the amount of damage prevented when an attack is blocked. Block amount can be increased by skills and items. What items? What skills? Like, I know that this seems a little bit, I was going to say it seemed a little bit more than on the shield, but no, it's exactly the value on the shield. Notice there, 13,130, 13,128. Yeah, they rounded up a little bit. 18,982, 18,980. Well, actually, there might be a couple of things that are changing that, but I can't tell you what it is because it's not strength. Strength increases your armor. It's not dexterity. Dexterity increases your dodge. It's not intelligence. Intelligence increases your resistances. And it's not vitality because vitality only increases your life. So I do not know what kind of stat they expect you to have to increase your block amount. And why is this important? Because if the amount of damage you actually block does not scale, but the damage the monsters are doing onto you is constantly scaling when you level up into your next tier of difficulty or the next torment level, that means that blocking will become obsolete. And for me personally, blocking becomes obsolete at Torment 4. I've ran this build in Torment 4, but it is a struggle because the monsters start hitting you really hard. And then I took the build to Torment 6 just to see what would happen, just out of curiosity. And basically, your normal mobs, just like the mobs that I ran into as soon as I got outside of the city, they were hitting me anywhere in the vicinity of 50,000 to 60,000 damage. So this blocking isn't doing all that much for us. Then you even put Renewal in there, and you're going to be getting 12,000 life every time you block. However, you're not going to be blocking 100%. There's going to be hits that are going to be going through you. So even blocking, even with Renewal and all that on the higher tiers of difficulty is just not going to happen, which is why I'm moving away from this build at this point. Now, for those of you that want to use this build up until Torment 3, I'm going to tell you guys what I found to be the most effective build that I've ran using this build up until now, and that was obviously Punish Roar, Blessed Shield. Currently my itemization is not all that proper anymore because I have been switching things up to a different build, but the build itself still remains kind of like this. So Punish Roar, you guys already know what this is about. You're going to hit monsters, they're going to hit you back, you're going to be doing AoE damage. This still remains pretty much unchanged. Blessed Shield with Shattering Throw, this changed. I was using Fist of Heavens, and I switched to Blessed Shield. If for whatever reason, if you happen to have something that boosts your fire damage or whatever, Blessed Shield with Combust is also pretty good. But for now, I'm using Shattering Throw because I have a couple of items that give me holy damage, I think. But regardless, doesn't even matter because this isn't even the build that I'm using right now. It's just to give you guys an idea. But Blessed Shield, and why Blessed Shield over Fist of Heavens? Because if you're going to have a high block chance, you might as well take advantage of it. So this is the way that you take advantage of that, by using Blessed Shield. There's also something that I worked out for a bit. I was trying to use Shield Bash because you got Shield Bash with Pound. And Shield Bash with Pound actually does a really good amount of damage. The problem is it's actually hard to land this attack, particularly on multiple enemies. You also have Shield Bash with Shattered Shield that you can try to work with. But to be completely honest, my best experience has definitely been Blessed Shield Shattering Throw as your main Wrath Spender. Then you have Condemned. Now, me personally, I'm still using Condemned because I still have the Blade of Prophecy. As a matter of fact, even my next build is still using Condemned because despite the fact that it only triggers 2 additional Condemns, that's still a tremendous amount of damage that you're pulling off in one go. Not to mention, Vacuum is really useful for basically gathering up enemies on top of you. Then you obviously got Provoke with the Hit Me rune so that you get your increased block. And here's the thing. When you're doing your Punish, the fact that you increase your block chance, that is going to increase the damage on your Blessed Shield. This works. Trust me, I tested it. Then on top of that, whenever you do Provoke, that is also going to increase your block chance. That is also going to benefit the damage on Blessed Shield. So these 2 skills, these 3 skills actually synergize really, really well with each other. Now you guys will notice that I've put Judgment Resolved over what I previously had, which was Heaven's Fury. Well, Heaven's Fury was not really doing it for me anymore, and Judgment Resolved is actually a pretty beastly skill. So let's say you pull a pack of mobs, you do Condemned, everybody's on top of you, you do Provoke, so you're going to be doing an additional damage with Blessed Shield for a little bit. You also got Punish going, so that's an additional 15% block chance on top of your already high block chance. So all of this stuff is going to be buffing Blessed Shield to ridiculous amounts. Then on top of that, you place down Judgment, and pretty much every hit you're going to land is going to be a crit. So then you just spam Blessed Shield like nobody's business. That is going to deal tremendous amounts of damage. And then whenever you're up against bosses, you pop Akarat's Champion. All of this stuff is going to be coming out of cooldown all the time because Blessed Shield does tons of hits. So yeah, all of this stuff synergizes really well. It synergizes better than Heaven's Fury in my personal opinion. So this is like what I would consider the finalized version of the build that I was working on. Then you obviously got Heavenly Strength so that you can wield a two-handed weapon. If you're running a Crusader, you should always be running a two-handed weapon unless your one-hander actually does something that is ridiculously amazing, because otherwise you're always going to want to have that two-hander. Renewal, because obviously since you're going to be blocking quite a bit, this is your source of survivability. Finery, so that you do it as much damage as you possibly can. And then Hold Your Ground, because you want, once again, to increase your block chances as much as you can. Let me try and show you guys what this actually looks like, but I don't want to go into Battlefields of Eternity because you've got those guys over there that block. Those guys are a pain in the neck. But basically, the way that you would do this is you just run around and you just gather as many mobs as you possibly can, and you tank the crap out of them. Now bear in mind, currently my gear is no longer optimized for this because I've been switching items around for increased damage output. But as you can see, Torment 3, and not even giving a damn. Just not even giving a damn, running through it like it's nothing. And you can still run Torment 4, but you're going to... it obviously also depends on your gear, but Torment 4 is going to be slightly tougher. But as you can see, we're getting up to 10 million crits from the combination of Provoke and the Shield, the Blessed Shield. As you can see, this was like an elite pack, and it's just like you've made quick work of an elite pack, no problem whatsoever. I'm actually taking quite a bit to take this guy down. And also bear in mind, we could have popped Akarat's Champion, which was going to boost our damage significantly, so there's that. But this definitely works, and I know that there's a lot of you guys that are going to say, oh man, if you get that particular shield that makes this thing jump through 6 targets, that would be insane. Yes, it would, but you don't necessarily need that. Like, you can still just chug along through. Now, the thing is, every now and then you will run out of Wrath, but that's why Provoke is there. And I've just also noticed that I'm just spamming my skills. I'm not even paying that much attention to what I'm doing. But I think you guys get a good idea of how the build plays. Now, when you get to bosses, you also are going to be wanting to use Akarat's Champion or any monster that you feel is a little bit too tough. And also bear in mind that Akarat's Champion is not only for damage, it is also for survivability. If you get yourself stuck in a situation that you feel you are probably going to die, all you got to do is pop Akarat's Champion because you get 1 extra life. And what that means is if you die once while under the effect of Akarat's Champion, you are able to just return yourself to life without any issues. However, if you die twice, then you're basically screwed. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, as you guys can see, this build can take you through Torment 3. However, if you are planning to go, you can still do it in Torment 4, like I said, but if you are planning to go anywhere above that, I would no longer recommend this build because, like I said, from my experience, you're actually going to be screwing yourself because blocking does not scale. And that is, I find that to be a problem, actually, because, like, I've made this build, right? And I'm pretty sure that probably a lot of people came up with this build. And it's like, I feel that this build is great, and it's a lot of fun to play, because you are doing tons of damage right now, but it took me quite a while to get gear to work for this build. I mean, even my helmet is basically the only thing it's doing. It's giving me additional block. Like, this whole set Like, right now it's not as much because I've switched some parts around, but this whole set was based around taking a beating and surviving. And the fact of the matter is, when you get to Torment 6, you're not going to survive, you're going to die. So what adaptation did I do of this build that is going to enable me to keep on progressing? Well, I'll show you guys. Now bear in mind, this build is still probably in what I would consider, the build that I'm going to show you is still in what I would consider a... Oh, come on, dude. Come on, dude. What is wrong with you? Come back here. Oh, crap. Now I'm going to have to kill these guys, too. There. Now, like I said, bear in mind that the build that I'm going to show you right now, I would consider this build to be in a beta stage because I'm just starting using it. This build does not have a dedicated generator. I am actually using Zealous Glare. Do I have to switch any of my gear around? No, I don't. Not right now, anyways. My Wrath Spender is actually Fist of Heavens with Fissure. I still use Condemned with Vacuum. I no longer use Provoke because... Or do I use Provoke? I honestly don't remember. No, I use Phalanx. Yeah, that's what it was. Phalanx with Bowman. And here's the thing, the interesting thing. These gloves that I picked up, and at some point I was even like, look, I'm going to break these because they got strength and I don't have a pet class. So I don't really need the increased attack speed on pets. However, when you combine this with the Phalanx Bowman, this is actually pretty beastly. I was surprised. Like, these guys will crit for 1.6 million almost every single hit because I'm going to be popping these at the same time as Judgment. So it gets pretty crazy. And then on top of that, since you're doing Judgments, you can do the Fist of Heavens thing, and it's going to crit like a motherfucker. It is ridiculous, and it is a lot of fun. However, you do have to switch another skill here. You have to switch Hold Your Ground for Lord Commander. Now, I'm still using Renewal, even though I'm not entirely sure Renewal is of any use, because when you actually go into the higher levels of Torment... oops. Sorry about that. When you actually go into the higher levels of Torment, you're actually... your blocking is not going to make up for your health, so I might have to switch this for Wrathful, or I might have to find another different way to sustain myself. I've even been considering replacing Shield Glare with Justice Holy Bolt. That's also an option for this build, but it's just right now I feel that Shield Glare is just so good. It's just the problem is that sometimes I'm not used to doing a build like this, which has no generator, and he's using Shield Glare to generate Wrath. So a lot of times I find myself struggling for Wrath. That's still my main problem. However, every now and then, like you see there, I just popped that up for no reason, and yeah, that was not that good. Now the good thing is that on my previous set, I was already working with cooldown reduction, and cooldown reduction allows me to pop the Bowman quite often. And on top of that, it also reduces the amount of time that it takes for me to get my generator back up. I'm also running with some Nemesis bracers because these are actually really good if you're trying to get loot. But as you can see, this build is actually pretty fun. Like, I'm clearing stuff almost at the same rhythm that I was with my other build. However, I'm no longer relying on blocking to survive. Like, right now I still have a high block chance, but I'm not really relying on blocking to survive. I still have to rely on blocking somewhat and rely on other stuff like dodging, parrying, and avoiding damage because I am still using Condemn, and I do want to get rid of that. I want to be able to eventually get something that enables me to replace Command with something else. Condemned with something else, because Condemned is just not going to be at least I don't feel like this is going to be very good in Torment 6, because I'm going to want to be away from enemies as opposed to right on top of them. But for now, I'm still just kind of practicing this build out a little bit. As you guys can see, we are still using the Condemn, but you guys can switch that for pretty much anything else of your preference. One of the things that I would like to try out with this is if I was able to get the Mortal Drama get instead of condemned, I wanted to get the, what do you call them, bombards, because if you guys notice, our passive here that is increasing the damage on phalanx is also reducing the cooldown on bombardment. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking of using bombardment in place of Akarat's champion. I've been toying with that idea. The problem then becomes that I mean, on tier 3 it's not really a big issue. Like I can play any of these builds in tier 3. It's not Torment 3. It's not a big problem. But when you start going to higher torments, what is going to happen is oh, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Sorry, I was just like so focused on the gameplay. Yeah, I just totally lost that. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Akarat's champion. Yeah, on Torment 3, it's not really a problem because I'm not really usually in much life-threatening situations. However, in Torment 4, you get yourself in quite a couple of pickles every now and then. And if you don't have Akarat's champion to survive, you have to really play into Akarat's champion as well as your potions and stuff like that, and just kind of cycle through those to get through the tougher situations. Because if you don't have Akarat's champion on Torment 4 and your gear is not up to par, you're probably going to die a lot more often than you would otherwise. But yeah, this build's also a lot of fun. As you can see, I'm constantly struggling for Wrath. Another thing that I would like to mention in regards to this is when you're soloing, I know that there's going to be a lot of you guys going to be wondering about which follower should I take. And for the higher levels of the higher tiers of difficulty, I would advise you to take the Enchantress. Now, for me, taking the Enchantress is very simple because I don't have to actually pick skills for the Enchantress. As a matter of fact, I should go get the Enchantress to begin with, because I don't even know why I came here without the Enchantress. But my opinion is take the Enchantress for the additional CC, because, like I said, if you're not going to be blocking and doing all that, you might as well get as much CC as you possibly can. If you don't want to bring the Enchantress for CC, I would advise you to bring the Templar for healing. What I would not advise you to bring is the Scoundrel, and there's a reasoning for that. Like, I love the Scoundrel, okay? Don't get me wrong. I love bringing the Scoundrel. I think that the Scoundrel brings a lot of stuff to the table, namely that that thing that he does on his final skill, which basically whenever one of you guys is crit, or whenever he crits or whatever, you do 3% increased damage. I think that's a pretty cool skill to have, and I like the fact that he's just someone who is dedicated to damage dealing. But what tends to happen is basically he does not CC as much as the Enchantress, not even close, so he does not have as many crowd control abilities. He doesn't deal like that much damage, and on top of that, his survivability is crap. Like, I'm sorry, Blizzard needs to maybe look into it, or maybe I'm just like itemizing him all wrong. I don't know. You guys tell me. But basically, in the higher levels of Torment, what tends to happen when I use him is basically he dies all the time. And I do mean all the time. Like, he will res up and die instantly after he resed up because he got one-shot by something. So it's like, I don't get it. The Enchantress seems to be able to survive because she pushes enemies around and she uses crowd control and all that. The Templar survives on his sheer toughness alone, and the Templar is useful because the Templar is going to heal you, and the Enchantress is useful because she CCs targets and pushes them around and does all kinds of things that just mess with the AI. So she's pretty useful. Templar's pretty useful as well. Scoundrel, not so much. So it's really up to you. If you feel that you have problems surviving, you might want to try the Enchantress regardless. I mean, I would always tell you try the Enchantress first because there's just so much advantage to her CC abilities that I just think that she's an invaluable asset. If you, however, still feel that you want to get heals or something like that, then just get the Templar and go for it. But right now, this is the build that I am working on. It is a lot of fun. Also bear in mind that using Fist of Heavens with Fisher allows you to basically create lightning arcs in different locations. Now, the reason why I'm just pouring them right on top of monsters is because if you put two of them, they're still like doing the little arcs on top of each other. and then you put that on top of your Judgment Condemned, and you're going to have a ton of crit going on, basically. A ton of crit damage going on. Let's go ahead and kill Adria here just to finalize the video. I haven't actually tried this build on Adria, so it's actually a pretty good chance to try things out. See how we do against the boss. Let's get Akarat's champion going on here. It would be good to do more damage, but we are still somewhat limited in terms of damage. Because like I said, I still have a ton of equipment that is based around the survivability aspect of things. And Adria moves around a lot, and this build is really based around basically trapping your monsters with Condemned, and then just dishing out as much damage as you possibly can. However, I have to say, I love watching these Phalanx Bowmen shoot. It's just a ton of fun. Still, I think we're doing fairly decently, considering we are in Torment 3, and we're still killing Adria at a reasonable pace. Like, I don't think that this is an unreasonable pace to be killing Adria. But that could just be me. I don't know what other people's experience are, because I never really pay all that much attention to how other people are doing. I just kind of try to look for builds and stuff that I find fun and amusing. But damn, I love these bowmen, dude. Just look at them. You just see them shooting. It's like they got machine guns going off. Look at this. They're critting for 2 million right now. It's insane. I love it. Let's pop a heal. We also have Akarats again, so let's go for that. An extra life. And hey, we've dealt with Adria, I would say in a reasonable time frame, okay? This is Torment 3 after all. Oh wow, two-handed axe. Lucky me, I haven't... It's interesting, like, you guys are going to think, this guy's so friggin' lucky. It's the friggin' Gorehowl. It's a piece of crap. But anyways, you guys are probably going to think he's so friggin' lucky. It's like, I very, very, very rarely get legendaries. Like, you see all these legendaries here? I got all of these that I have on this character. Like, this is crafted. This is also crafted. And the rest of these I got like weeks ago. I haven't had a decent drop in God knows how long. And this, if you guys consider this a decent drop, let me tell you what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to get to town. I'm going to break this down. I mean, look at this. What the fuck? I mean, seriously. I'm sorry, Blizzard. This, you see this class that I'm playing here? Where does it even say? Does it say anywhere? This is a Crusader. See? Crusader. It uses strength. What the fuck is it with the 959 dexterity on my Butcher's Carver? It's like the dumbest thing ever. I have a better Butcher's Carver. I think I broke the Butcher's Carver I had on my stash. It's like, oh man. But anyways, one of the good things is that, hey, at least I get a Forgotten Soul. Because God knows, even those are hard to come by. Like, sometimes I'll do 20 friggin' rifts and not get a goddamn Forgotten Soul. Yeah, these times, they are tough. What should I should do a reroll on camera while I'm here. I mean, might as well. How many do I have? Do I have any others? No. What should I reroll? I think I'm going to reroll my shoulders because I really don't like that thing condemned damage there. Even though it's a decent stat, but I would much rather have something like crit chance or something like that. That'd be something cool to have for my shoulders. Or should I reroll something else? I don't think I have anything else I'd like to reroll, though. Oh, yeah, I need to reroll these bracers. Need to get rid of this fire skill damage. What can I get? I can get crit chance as well. But it's so frustrating because there's like all these other things that I can get. Well, I'm going to risk it in here. And let's see what we get, guys. Wish me luck. That was so bad. That's such a bad roll. Fine. Thank you. The reason why I'm taking holy skills is because basically condemned is holy. Phalanx is actually physical, so, well, I guess I'll just boost condemned's damage. It's like, whatever. There's no lightning. Maybe if there was lightning, I'd put lightning, but no. Anyways, that is going to be it for this video. As per usual, leave me your comments, feedback, all that kinds of good stuff. Thank you very much for watching. And I will see you guys in the next one.